What's going on, everybody? SPANK Gaming here with another stream tip tutorial. This is going to be a stream tip tutorial on how we can improve our production quality of our live streams. Now, to demonstrate this, I'm going to be using a very common webcam. It is the Logitech C920. You can find this webcam at just about anywhere. Best Buy, Amazon. They're very cheap, they're very accessible, and they're very user-friendly. So what I'm going to be going into here is how we can take your C920 and make it go from this to this. Okay, and none of what I'm about to show you guys is going to help you guys out unless you have the proper lighting. Okay, I made a YouTube video stream tip tutorial on 3-point lighting. It's very important that you have this lighting situated. If you don't, please go on over to that video, check that video out, then come back here and let's get into these settings. Okay, all right guys, here we are. We have OBS open. We just plugged our brand new Logitech into our PC, and we're ready to rock and roll and get this stream going, right? Okay, so first off, we're gonna go ahead and add the source. We're gonna go to the sources tab here, click the little plus sign. It'll say add when you hover over it, and we're gonna add another video capture device. Okay, so we're gonna name this device Logitech. Okay, and that's gonna be our C920. We're gonna hit OK, and this is what you're gonna be met with. If you don't have this in your if you don't have it pop up automatically, it'll be in this drop down menu right here. HD Pro Webcam C920. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add that right there, right? Okay, so now we'll notice, hey, this don't look right. You know, what the heck? That's okay, we're gonna fix all this. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to resolution type right here. You're gonna click on that and you're gonna click custom. Your webcam's gonna go away. Fear not, we just have not selected a resolution yet. So we're gonna go ahead and pick 1920 by 1080. That's looking much better so far, right? Okay, and then FPS highest 30 and blah blah blah. We're just gonna select 30. Video format, you can mess around with this if you'd like, but I just leave it on any. And then the color space, I use select 709 because that brings out more colors. And then also color range, you want to be full. Okay, you want to capture all the colors that you have going on, especially if you have if you have your background set up like like I have, and you want to get it all the colors out. That's the best way to do it. Okay, so we have that all set up, and we're gonna hit OK. Now we're left with this image, right? And it's not ideal. So what you can do is you can double click on your source, the Logitech source, and you can go to configure video. And while you're here in configure video, you can set up all of these sliders. You have all of these sliders right here. Now you can set your webcam up this way, but here's the problem. If you shut down your PC at the end of the stream and you come back to it, all of this is going to be set to default. It's not going to save any of it. So we're not going to use that right now. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're gonna hit OK. We're gonna actually close out OBS. We have to close out OBS in order to do the Logitech Capture. So you'll probably be prompted to download Logitech Capture, and that's what you're gonna want to use to set your settings for this Logitech camera. We're gonna close out OBS. Okay, so we have Logitech Capture opened here. They're showing off their brand new stream cam. This is a pretty good stream cam, I've heard. I've seen some mixed reviews of it though. Go ahead and take a look into this if you would like to. You can always just click to learn more and check out this webcam as well. This is just running us through what we can do. We're just gonna skip all that. Blah blah blah. There we go. Okay, so now let's set this to create new profile. Oh, first we got to create. Okay, we have to create an account first. Okay, so here we are. We're in the settings. We've created our account, and we have some presets here, right? So if we set our preset to streaming, recording, blah blah blah, but we're gonna select custom. Okay, so you can have your priority set to frame rate or to exposure. Now it's gonna do some automatic things, might mess up the frame rate a little bit. But now autofocus, obviously you want to leave that on auto, right? And then the white balance is a tricky one. Now on auto, it seems to do okay. As soon as you turn off auto, things get a little weird, right? You know, and then you can mess with the slider right here and try and mess with it, you know, but I don't seem to get too many good results, you know, playing with the slider. You know, it just seems like the auto white balance just kind of does a good job. Now anti-flicker. So if you're in, you know, US, Canada, all that stuff, look up for your region what your electricity hertz is. Okay, here in the US it's 60 hertz. In the UK I know it's 50 hertz. So we're gonna leave that on 60 hertz. Chroma key is for green screen users. And then we come down here, we have our advanced settings. We can just kind of leave that alone as well. But we don't have too much that we can do with this program right here, so we're still gonna have to mess with settings in OBS, which is okay. But now we can come here to the image settings, and right here we can mess with our brightness. So let's bring our brightness down a little bit. Too far. Gonna mess with this until we got the brightness right. I believe this is saturation. No, this is saturation right here. I think this is contrast. Yeah, this is contrast. Okay, so we're gonna leave the contrast up just a tad. This is the sharpness, and we're gonna turn the sharpness up just a tad. If we turn the sharpness up way too much, this is what we get. We get a really grainy image, right? We don't want that. We just want a little bit more sharpness, right? Just to bring in some more definition. And then the saturation, I always turn up a little bit of saturation because the skin tones don't look that great. And this brings out the colors of your background a little bit more too. And, you know, you want to add a little tan to yourself, you know what I'm saying? You want to get yourself a little, you know, a little tan ski, you know what I'm saying? All right, so we got all that set, okay? Perfect. So it's set to preset custom. And that's all we need to do. So there we go. So now we're going to go ahead and close out this program. And then we're going to open up OBS again. And here we are back in OBS, where we have our Logitech, and it's set up just how it was in the app. So we're going to go to configure video. Yep, it's got everything set up how we had it set up in the app. Perfect. Another thing I like to do in here is I like to turn off the auto exposure. Now, a lot of people wouldn't recommend that you do this, but I like to turn it off and then drop the exposure down just a little bit. And then what I do is I like to go to the gain, and then I like to add just a little bit more gain. That's one thing I like to do. It's totally up to you how you want to set that up. Oh yeah, see, now we got some flicker. So this is a problem that you get when you have too much flicker. So let's go back and fix that. And let's go ahead and actually bump the exposure back up. We'll bump the exposure back up, and we'll just turn the gain down. So about right there. Okay. Might be dark for some folks. I like a darker look. Okay. Anyway, so here we are. We got rid of our flicker. No more flickering. So this is pretty set up. This is what I like to see. Okay. Now we're gonna go into a thing called Luntz. Okay. So if we come here to our source, we're gonna right click on it. We're gonna go to filters. Okay, and here in filters, you're gonna have the effect filters, audio filters. We're gonna go to the effect filters right here. Click on the little plus sign. And if you were to be using a green screen, this is where you would add your chroma key. Okay, and if you add your chroma key, that's how you're gonna rule out the green color. Okay, and that's gonna make you melt into your game. It's just gonna be you and the gameplay. That's a pretty clean look. I really enjoy having a nice background. So we're gonna go ahead and apply a LUT. Okay, it doesn't matter what it's called. We're just gonna leave it as apply LUT. Okay, so from the path we're gonna hit browse, and that's gonna take us right here to program files, OBS Studio, data, OBS plugins, OBS filters, and LUTs. Now take note of this right here, because this is going to be very important for us moving forward. Okay, because we're going to have to go to Davinci Resolve and create a LUT, which I've already done right here. But in Davinci Resolve, we're going to have to search for this original LUT right here. Okay, so we already created our LUT, but let me go ahead and show you how to create your LUT in Davinci Resolve. We're going to close that, and we're going to go to do Davinci Resolve right here. Now you can download Davinci Resolve for free. Head over to Davinci Resolve, click on the download button, Davinci Resolve 16. You don't need Studio. You're not trying to pay for this. This is a free program. You're going to click Windows, and you're going to create a profile, and it will start a download for you. You're going to unzip that, and you're going to go ahead and install Davinci Resolve on your PC, and it's going to show up right here. Okay, so we're going to open up Davinci Resolve, and you also want to take a recording, which I've already done. You want to take a recording of your camera. So just put it on full screen, make a short recording, make some funny faces, whatever you want to do, and then save that recording. Okay, make sure it's somewhere where you can find it. Okay, so we're here in Davinci Resolve, and we're going to create a new project, right? So we're going to go new project. Doesn't matter what it's called to me. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, so here we are, Davinci Resolve, and we're going to right click right here, and we're going to go to import media. So here's, we're going to take our original LUT, and we're going to import that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to import the capture that you took. So here's our capture right here. This is the capture I took earlier. So here we are. Now we're going to select all of these, and we're going to drop it down into our timeline right here. Okay, so then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pan over until you have the image from OBS that you recorded. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to come down here, and you're going to go to color. Click on this, and this is where you're going to have some sliders to mess with here. So, the lift is going to bring in more shadows. So let's for the sake, let's bring the shadows all the way in. See, that's going to bring in all of our shadows, right? Kind of darken up the image. You don't want to go too crazy with this. You'll get a really dark image. I like to go down to about -02, -03-ish, but let's go to -02, okay? And now for the gamma, this is going to be brightening up the image. If we go up higher, it brightens up the image. See, it brightens it up. If we go down, it darkens it up a little bit. Now, when you darken your image a little bit, it cleans up some of that digital noise that you get. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and drop that gamma down just a little bit to 0.02 is about perfect. And all I'm doing here, guys, is I'm left clicking right here and moving my mouse over. And that's how I'm adjusting this, okay? Now, the gain is going to kind of do the same thing as the gamma. If we go, the more to the right we go, the brighter features get, like our, how bright our face is with our lighting and stuff like that. The gamma is another thing I like to turn down just a little bit. It gets more of a natural skin tone. See, as we keep going darker, we're getting a nicer, even skin tone, right? We're not so blown out anymore. So we're gonna keep dropping that down just a little bit. We don't want to go too far because then it'll make the image a little too dark. Okay, now the offset is kind of like where the contrast kind of starts coming in. So the higher we go with the offset, it lifts up a little bit, and then lower with the offset darkens the image. So the offset, we're gonna kind of set up a little bit higher because we already have our skin tones right, so we don't mind brightening the image a little bit. So let's go to about like 28.9, Perfect. There we go. Perfect. We have our image set up here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to File, and we're gonna go to Project Settings. Now, once you're here in Project Settings, I know it seems weird, but right here for the timeline resolution for processing, we want this to be 512 by 512. Okay? So once you're done with that, hit save. And that's going to bring our image down to a square here. And then if you pull up your LUT, you click on the LUT image right here. Now what you're going to do is hover over your image that you just did all your color corrections on, and middle click. That's your scroll wheel. Click that in. Notice how this got darker. Okay, so this changed colors. That's exactly what we wanted it to do. If you've seen this change color, then you know you did it right. So now we're going to right click on this, and we're going to say grab still. Okay, so we have our still up here. So we're going to right click on that, and we're going to click export. Okay, and we're going to go to the drop down, and we're going to go to PNG. Okay, so once we're here in PNG, we're going to name it, you know, Logitech LUT, and we'll say test. Perfect. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your program files. You're going to go to OBS Studio. You're going to go to Data, OBS Plugins, and then you're going to go find your LUT. In OBS Filters, LUTs. So here we are. Here's the original LUT that I saved, and then we're going to click Export. Okay, so you might get this. This stupid little message. Now what you're going to want to do is just click yes. Go ahead and export it to that file location, and then go back to that file location. We're going to click don't save on this one. You can save if you would like to. Okay, so now we're going to go back to that file location. Okay, so we're going to go to pictures, and here's the test LUT. Let's go ahead and just drag this to the desktop. This is just a workaround. I didn't run into this issue on my streaming PC. Apparently I don't have administrative privileges for OBS on this PC. That's fine. So now we're going to go to local disk C, program files. We're going to go to OBS Studio. We're going to go to data, OBS plugins, OBS filters, LUTs, and then we're going to go ahead and drag this in here. And then we have administrative privileges, so we'll continue. Perfect. So now it's in there. Okay, so now we can go ahead and go back to OBS, and we're going to right click on this. We're going to add our filter, and we're going to go back. We've already applied our LUT, so let's go ahead and browse, and let's go ahead and use our test LUT. Okay, so we're going to click open, and here it is. Now our LUT is applied. Now the image is pretty dark. You can go ahead and move this slider down, up, and down for how much of the LUT that you want to let in. Okay, so we'll just leave it up here. Okay, so here we go. We have a nicely set up Logitech C920, and I'm pretty happy with this image. I would totally stream with this. I dig it. As long as you have the correct lighting, this is something that's totally acceptable. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that covers the setup for the C920 with a little bit of extra from your boy. You know, a little bit more production value for the live streams. And if this content helped you guys out, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking that notification bell so that you are notified next time I upload another tutorial video. Speaking of live streams, guys, I do stream to Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I always start those streams off at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also stream to Mixer, guys, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I always kick those streams off at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come get into the chat, guys, and just, you know, let's talk about live stream quality. Let's talk about games, anything. I'm super interactive with my chat, guys. I love interacting with my community. I hope that this content really helped you guys out. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great stream, guys. Let's go, dude.
Oh, damn.
Let's go, dude. You fucking lasered, nerds.